I run a marketing agency. We work for some little companies you've never heard of. And I spend my whole life sort of geeking out on things. I used to run a computer games company. My ultimate geek credential is I designed a computer game for Lego, which is sort of geek squared, I think. And what I'm very interested in my life is sharing things. I like finding things out and then telling other people about them. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do today. This guy, does anyone know who this is? Right, his name is John Boyd. He was a colonel in the US Air Force. He is probably the most influential person of the late 20th century that nobody's ever heard of. And just look him up on the internet because I could geek out about him. But he said, you know, people, ideas, and hardware in that order. And I'm here now to talk about the hardware. First thing you need, if you're going to have your office in a briefcase, rucksack, backpack, handbag, carrier bag, implement of holding, is a good laptop. And I have got Surface Pro 3, thank you very much, Microsoft, which I like very much. I really like Readly. It's like Spotify for magazines. And you pay a £10 a month subscription and you can read magazines on your device. Also works on Apple devices. But they've got hundreds of magazines, so it's actually quite a good deal. And it works really well on the touch screen. I didn't massively get on with Windows 8. The first Windows version I used was Windows 3, and so I've got like 20 years of having a start menu or some sort of button and having windows that overlap. But Windows 10 is awesome. Windows 10 is fantastic, and you can download it from this and put it on your Surface, and it will suddenly the world will make sense to you. So I highly recommend that. And if you do it and you change your region to the US, you can also use Cortana, which allows you to talk at your Surface and ask it questions. Kuru Toga, right? This is £6 off Amazon. Kuru Toga, it's written down there. When you press the button, it rotates the lead so that you get an even, when you're writing with your pencil, whereas normal propelling pencils, you get a sort of angle edge to it as you write. This is absolutely geek heaven. And here's another little geeky tip. Right, everyone's got Moleskine notebooks, Moleskine. I quite like these little thin ones, and I carry them around quite a lot. But this, I think, is very clever. It's a reporter's notebook, and of course it's like a policeman's notebook, and you think you're supposed to use it like this. But here's the geeky bit. You put it down in front of a keyboard, and it goes that way. Oh. Reporter's notebook. All right. We've talked a lot about shared offices, shared workplaces. I like the RSA library in London. I go and work there sometimes. Priority Pass is well worth subscribing to if you spend a lot of time in airports, because it gives you access to lounges where you can go work. And Regis have a thing called Business World, where they have little lounges in their shared offices, and for a modest amount of money you can go and just pitch up there. I actually use that quite a lot, especially when I'm abroad. So, you know, and co-working space is fantastic if you're going to go to the same places regularly. So connectivity, right? We need, I saw this the other day, I thought this was very funny. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but fundamentally you need power and Wi-Fi, and then food, shelter, water. Yeah, so this is the Boingo map of Wi-Fi spots around this particular area. There are lots of them. So I have a free thing for this for reasons that they're too tedious to go into. But you can also get from, in the UK, BT Wi-Fi, and you can pay £4 and just use one for an hour, so you can just pay as you go. So that's great. Tethering, B already mentioned, absolutely fantastic. I have a O2 thing with 20 gigs a month on this, and I tether pretty much everything to it when I'm out and about, and that works really well because this becomes like a little mini Wi-Fi hotspot. Landline phone, we've talked a little bit about VoIP, voice over IP, voice over the internet. This is what I use, and this is, you know, your mileage may vary. Spitfire, I have a hosted PBX, so they have the telephone exchange and manage the connection to like the real phones, the real phone network. And then I use Counterpath Breer on this, on my desktop, on my Mac, and everything. It's just, there's a Counterpath Breer. It works magically for me. For my colleagues, not at all. I don't understand why we spend months trying to figure this out. But for me, it's fantastic. So be geeky and techie and have magic tech fingers and it'll work. Skype and Link, also very good, but in different contexts. And we do weekly, we do our company stand-up meeting, because we're a virtual business. We do our company stand-up meeting on Skype every week with video. Fantastic, works really well. I use Turbine for expenses, purchase orders, and time off requests. I own this business, quick plug, tell all your friends, but that's where you get it from. Moving on, we use Yammer. Yammer is fantastic for us as a virtual business. It's kind of like Facebook for your company. And it's a way of kind of it's that sort of informal chatter, I'm working on this, or I'm cheesed off about that, or I'm happy about this, or here's a cat video I found. And that kind of keeps that human side going, I think, the cat videos particularly. Lastly from me, I have my portable psychic emergency card, which I typeset myself. I did a typesetting course, and I have one in my pocket, so if anyone would like to approach me afterwards who thinks they might have a looming psychic emergency from mobile working, I will give them my psychic emergency card. The idea is you keep it in your wallet, and then when you have a psychic emergency, because you're, you know, stuck in a airport lounge kind of trying to answer 500 emails and your flight's just been called, you pull it out and you read it, and it calms you right down. That's what it's for. So it's a very, very important part of my kit.
I actually have one of those in my purse as well.
And can you see here is a person who has never had a psychic emergency since I gave him my card. It works. Okay, so yeah, that's really everything I had to say.